You just realized that you needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job posts seen on other job sites. Indeed-sponsored jobs help you stand out and hire fast. With sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates so you can reach the people that you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Plus, with Indeed-sponsored jobs, there's no monthly subscriptions, no long-term contracts, and you only pay for results. How fast is Indeed? Well, in the minute I've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/BWN. Just go to Indeed.com/BWN right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/BWN. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Hey, if you're like me, you don't exactly have a ton of time to shop for clothes. My wife is the same way, and she has introduced me to Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix is great. You just take a quick style quiz, share your size, your vibe, your budget, and boom, you're matched with a real human stylist who handles the rest. Stitch Fix sends you a fix box with clothes that actually fit and make sense for your life, work, weekends, whatever. Stitch Fix saves you time, you look great, and you don't even have to think about it. And Stitch Fix is no risk, all style. Try Stitch Fix clothes in the comfort of your home. Keep what works, send back the rest. Free shipping and returns always, and no subscription required. Plus, get a free try-on for your first fix. Get started today at StitchFix.com/podcast to get $20 off your first order, and Stitch Fix will waive your styling fee. That's StitchFix.com/podcast. And away we go, episode 1136 of the Al Galdi podcast. It is Tuesday, August 19th, 2025, and we say bye-bye, B-Rob. A situation that has escalated very quickly now sees the Commanders' RB1 for the last 3 seasons, Brian Robinson Jr., essentially done with the team, especially off what happened on Monday night. The Commanders' rushing offense quite good in a 31-17 preseason loss at the Cincinnati Bengals at Northwest Stadium on Monday Night Football. Do not be fooled by that final score. The Commanders in the first half ran the ball down the throats of the Bengals. Funny what happens when the Commanders don't not play 29 key players, as was the case in the preseason opening 48-18 loss at the New England Patriots on August 8th. Hello and welcome to this Tuesday installment of the Al Galdi podcast. Next segment, thoughts on receiver Terry McLaurin not being at the game on Monday night, and analysis of what the heck is going on with Brian Robinson and why, and a breakdown of the Commanders' dominant rushing offense on Monday night. Things are moving rapidly in this Brian Robinson situation. The following segment, analysis of a variety of other items from the game, including quarterback Jayden Daniels' short but impactful performance. Josh Johnson again outdoing Sam Hartman in the QB3 competition. A standout outing by receiver Jaylin Lane, and a mixed performance for the defense. And also on the show, I'll talk Orioles. They now are 42-33 since their 16-34 start to MLB's 2025 regular season. A 6-3 win at the Boston Red Sox on Monday night as the O's got really good offensive performances by shortstop Gunnar Henderson, catcher Samuel Basallo, and right fielder Dylan Beavers, and got another excellent start from starting pitcher Trevor Rogers. You can hit me up on X at Al Galdi. You can email me the Al Galdi podcast at yahoo.com. Lots of feedback on the Commanders' contract extension negotiations with receiver Terry McLaurin off the team on Saturday morning, announcing having activated him from the active/physically unable to perform list. In a post on X on Saturday morning and on Monday's show, episode 1135, said that the longer that this Terry McLaurin situation goes on, the more that it becomes apparent apparent that Commanders general manager Adam Peters is playing this very well, and McLaurin's agent, Buddy Baker, is playing this very poorly. From a good friend of this podcast, Howard Gutman, the former United States ambassador to Belgium on X. Howard is a longtime friend of and strategic advisor for Commanders limited partner Mitchell Rales. Howard also is a longtime friend of Commanders limited partner Mark Ein. Writes the ambassador, someone needs to tell that to Terry, but I would revise your statement to reflect that AP is not playing against his star, even if Baker is playing a game against the club. It becomes apparent that Adam Peters is doing his job professionally, and Baker is playing this poorly. Thank you for that, Ambassador. Very interesting and notable to get that from Ambassador Gutman. From Brandon on X, writes Brandon about Buddy Baker. He knows that this is Terry's last big deal, and there's a sizable gap between Terry and his next highest paid client. Thank you for that, Brandon. Buddy Baker's initial ask in these negotiations reportedly was sky high, and it's unclear if he's come down from that ask. But what I think has happened here is that Buddy Baker, whose most notable NFL client by far is Terry McLaurin, is trying to hit a home run in these contract extension negotiations, is trying to use these contract extension negotiations to build his practice, and he's failing. Adam Peters is not playing Buddy Baker's reindeer games. From Kenneth Moorfield on X, writes Kenneth, so Terry wants to be paid top dollar on a long-term contract in his 30s. He's under contract now. He's upset with the team on a contract he signed because his ego can't stand him not getting top dollar. He shows up not ready to play as well. Most receivers start regressing in their 30s. Thank you for that, Kenneth. I don't know that Terry McLaurin has some massive ego to where he can't stand not getting top dollar. I do think that McLaurin needs to be more realistic about not having the leverage in this situation. The Commanders overwhelmingly have the leverage. They have the cards. McLaurin does not have the cards, thanks to him already being under contract for the 2025 season and the team having the franchise tag as a tool for the 2026 season and even the 2027 season. From Dave on X, writes Dave, I agree somewhat, but if Terry gets his $28 to $32 million, maybe Buddy helped him get it. Commanders allegedly came in at $23 million. I will wait to see the end result, but from a fan's perspective, Buddy is a fool for wasting some of Terry's goodwill. Thank you for that, Dave. That is true. We do need to see how this plays out. The situation is not done yet. Perhaps Buddy Baker ends up taking Adam Peters to school in this situation. I'm not anticipating that, but that is possible. From Striper880 on X, right, Striper. Terry deserves better advice, but I admire his loyalty to Baker. We'll see how long it lasts. Skins hold all the cards. Sign or sit. Thank you for that, Striper. Yes, the Skins do hold all the cards. From Princess Brit on X, writes the Princess. Adam Peters should have gotten a deal done earlier this year. We would not be in this mess had he not let this drag on. Thank you for that, Princess. That is something that we don't know. Did Adam Peters try getting a contract extension with Terry McLaurin done prior to the 2025 offseason or early in the 2025 offseason, or did the team take its time in starting these contract extension negotiations? Heck, maybe McLaurin and Buddy Baker were not receptive to contract extension negotiations prior to the 2025 offseason. From Coverboy on X, writes Coverboy, Terry not getting reps in is not good for the team. Just get it done. Thank you for that, Coverboy. I hear you. We all want this situation to be over. From Redskin J 2099 on X, writes Jay, this has stunted a lot of the momentum coming off of last season, especially on the offensive side. Kingsbury could have left and taken a head coaching job, but wanted to come back for this team. He won't miss that opportunity again next year. Thank you for that, Jay. So I'm not convinced that the Terry McLaurin situation will harm the offense come the regular season. That could be the case, but what also could be the case is that McLaurin, through all of this, has kept himself in great shape and is supremely motivated to have a great season that compels the team to give him a big money contract extension next offseason. Like, I don't think that the scenario of him being in shape and being super motivated for the coming regular season in order to, shall we say, shove it in Adam Peters' face is that far-fetched. By the way, as we discussed on Monday's show, the Commanders on Saturday morning activating McLaurin from the active/physically unable to perform list does not appear to be a sign that the team and him are any closer to a contract extension/new contract. ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter was at the Commanders training camp practice on Saturday morning. This was Schefter on ESPN's Get Up on Monday morning.
Well, the one negligible sign of progress that we've seen here is that the Commanders activated Terry McLaurin off pup on Saturday. Now, that should not be confused with any progress in negotiations. I'm told it's quote-unquote status quo between Terry McLaurin and the Commanders, which means they are not close to a deal at this point in time. I think Terry McLaurin continues to look for a deal north of what DK Metcalf got in Pittsburgh, which is $33 million per year. The Commanders are considerably lower. Washington has been unwilling to budge. Terry McLaurin has been unwilling to budge. And we have a standoff now with the regular season getting closer and closer.
Yeah, the regular season is getting closer and closer. Adam Schefter on the state of contract extension negotiations between the Commanders and Terry McLaurin. Quote, status quo. They are not close to a deal at this point in time, end quote. Not what we wanted to hear. But here's something very nice to hear. If you are a longtime Washington fan or just want to learn more about the team, I want to tell you about an outstanding new book, RFK All Access by Scott Cunningham. Scott served as a photographer for NFL properties for years. He photographed the Redskins extensively during their glory days of the 1980s and early 1990s. Scott, via RFK All Access, has put together a compilation of his best Redskins photos, many of which are behind-the-scenes photos. Joe Gibbs, Jack Kent Cooke, Richie Pettibone, the Hogs, the Posse, Sonny Sam and Frank All, and so many more are featured in this book, which is 392 pages of glorious Skins history. 5 pounds of Redskins gold. If you are a serious Washington fan, if you are a Skins historian, the book is a must-have. Also makes for a great gift. This is a book that has been endorsed by Joe Gibbs himself. Quote, this is a great book filled with great memories, end quote. I have the book. It is sensational. RFK All Access. You can get the book by visiting rfkallaccess.com. And when you order the book, mention in the notes section that Al Galdi sent you. That's rfkallaccess.com and mention in the notes section that Al Galdi sent you.
You just realized that you needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job posts seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs help you stand out and hire fast. With sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates so you can reach the people that you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Plus, with Indeed sponsored jobs, there's no monthly subscriptions, no long-term contracts, and you only pay for results. How fast is Indeed? Well, in the minute I've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/BWN. Just go to Indeed.com/BWN right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/BWN. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Hey, if you're like me, you don't exactly have a ton of time to shop for clothes. My wife is the same way, and she has introduced me to Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix is great. You just take a quick style quiz, share your size, your vibe, your budget, and boom, you're matched with a real human stylist who handles the rest. Stitch Fix sends you a fix box with clothes that actually fit and make sense for your life, work, weekends, whatever. Stitch Fix saves you time, you look great, and you don't even have to think about it. And Stitch Fix is no risk, all style. Try Stitch Fix clothes in the comfort of your home. Keep what works, send back the rest. Free shipping and returns always, and no subscription required. Plus, get a free try-on for your first fix. Get started today at StitchFix.com/podcast to get $20 off your first order, and Stitch Fix will waive your styling fee. That's StitchFix.com/podcast. Hey, please consider subscribing to the podcast if you're not already doing that. Subscribing to the podcast costs nothing. Make sure that you never miss an episode and helps out the podcast a lot. And if you're already subscribing, Thank you. The top two Commanders items over the last few days clearly are the Terry McLaurin and Brian Robinson Jr. situations. Receiver Terry McLaurin, the stalled contract extension negotiations, the request to be traded. The team this past Saturday morning announced having activated him from the active/physically unable to perform list, but he and the Commanders' 31-17 preseason loss to the Cincinnati Bengals at Northwest Stadium on Monday Night Football not only didn't play, he wasn't even at the game. He did not show up to the game. The Commanders played a number of starters/key players, though plenty did not play. Commanders offensive players who did not play in the game: quarterback Marcus Mariota, receivers Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, and Chris Moore, running back Brian Robinson Jr., tight end Zach Ertz, and offensive linemen Laramie Tunsil, Brandon Coleman, and Samuel Cosme. Commanders defensive players who did not play in the game: edge defenders Von Miller and Javonte Jean-Baptiste, linebackers Bobby Wagner and Jordan McGee, and quarterbacks Trey Amos and Jonathan Jones. McLaurin, Robinson, and Cosme were not at the game at all. Now, McLaurin's absence, per Adam Kilgore of the Washington Post, was an excused absence, but unlike Brian Robinson, with whom the team is about to part, and unlike Sam Cosme, who is on the active/physically unable to perform list, Terry McLaurin appears unlikely to be parted with anytime soon, and he is no longer on that active/physically unable to perform list. McLaurin not even being at the game on Monday night does not seem to be a great sign about the state of things between himself and the team. Also holding in, as McLaurin has been holding in, has been Bengals edge defender Trey Hendrickson. Hendrickson was at the game on Monday night. McLaurin was not. You wonder, is this an example of more bad advice from Terry McLaurin's agent, Buddy Baker? You gotta wonder. Meantime, Brian Robinson, man, has this situation moved fast. The Commanders' rushing offense on Monday night was really good, capping a 30-hour period during which it became apparent that Brian Robinson's time with the Commanders is essentially done. Just like that, the man who has been the team's RB1 for the last 3 seasons is as good as gone. Now, there had been suspicion that Robinson could be traded or could be cut, but this really got going on Sunday evening when we had multiple reports that the Commanders are interested in trading Robinson. That absolutely is a sign that the team is planning on cutting him and just wants to see if it can get something for him. Then we on Monday afternoon had reports that Robinson would not play in this preseason game against the Bengals due to his uncertain future with the Commanders. So the news was broken by NFL insider Mike Garafolo of NFL Network. He in a post on X wrote, quote, "Amid speculation about his future with the Commanders, RB Brian Robinson Jr. will not play tonight against the Bengals," sources say. It's a mutual decision between Robinson and the team, as a trade before the cut to the 53-man roster remains a possibility, end quote. Mutual decision, as in neither side wanted him to risk getting hurt and jeopardize whatever chance, however remote, there is for a trade. And then the Commanders' rushing offense in this preseason loss to the Bengals was great. The Commanders had 30 carries for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. So the 2 biggest standouts were running backs Chris Rodriguez Jr. and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and those 2 guys, of course, are the 2 obvious replacements for Robinson. The game ended up being affirmation for the Commanders in moving on from Robinson. Chris Rodriguez had 6 carries for 62 yards, was not targeted in the passing game. The Commanders' first offensive drive resulted in quarterback Jayden Daniels' 2nd and 9, 14-yard shotgun scramble touchdown run with 8:57 left in the first quarter. The second snap of the drive on a 1st and 10 for the Commanders at their 45, Rodriguez had a 40-yard pistol handoff run. Tight end John Bates and center Tyler Biadasz had great blocks on that play, but how about that? The second snap of the Commanders' first offensive drive, a 40-yard run by Chris Rodriguez. The Commanders' third offensive drive. This happened in the second quarter. The drive resulted in quarterback Josh Johnson's 2nd and 9 interception. The first snap of the drive on a 1st and 10 for the Commanders at their 29. Rodriguez had a 9-yard pistol handoff run. The 5th snap of the drive on a 2nd and 7 for the Commanders at their 49. Rodriguez had an 8-yard delayed shotgun handoff run. The 7th snap of the drive on a 2nd and 1 for the Commanders at the Bengals 34. Rodriguez had a 3-yard shotgun handoff run. And Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, the man known as Bill, in fact, he, according to ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter, prefers Bill. He had 11 carries for 46 yards and a touchdown and had 2 receptions for no yards on 2 targets. So the Commanders' second offensive drive, this was Josh Johnson's first drive of the game. The first snap of the drive on a 1st and 10 for the Commanders at the Bengals 44. Krosky-Merritt had a 5-yard pistol handoff run. The third snap of the drive on a 1st and 10 for the Commanders at the Bengals 27. Krosky-Merritt had a 27-yard shotgun handoff touchdown run with 5:36 left in the first quarter. In the first quarter of this game, we had a 40-yard run by Chris Rodriguez and a 27-yard touchdown run by Bill Krosky-Merritt. The Commanders' 7th offensive drive. This was the opening drive of the second half. The drive resulted in kicker Matt Gay's 27-yard field goal with 7:28 left in the third quarter. The first snap of the drive on a 1st and 10 for the Commanders at their 25. Krosky-Merritt had an 11-yard shotgun handoff run. Chris Rodriguez and Bill Krosky-Merritt, in some order, certainly appear to be the Commanders' new plan at running back in terms of primary ball carriers, although we should not discount 2 other running backs, Austin Eckler and Jeremy McNichols, so the team likes those guys too. Here was head coach Dan Quinn during his post-game press conference late night on Monday night on having spoken with Brian Robinson.
Adam and I had met with Brian yesterday and known that we would hold him out of the game tonight. And there's just a lot of moving parts. This time of year, those things take place, and so I just wanted to make sure that's my responsibility, to let the team know whenever I can so they're not hearing any information from anywhere else. So that was all. It's more of the standard operating procedure for me. But if I have a chance when things come up, especially during this time of year, when I can bring them together and discuss things, I want them to hear those things from me first. That's all.
Dan Quinn on the Brian Robinson situation, quote, "There's just a lot of moving parts," end quote. Translation, bye-bye, B-Rob. We later, during the Dan Quinn post-game press conference late night on Monday night, had this back and forth between Commanders insider Nikki Zavala of The Athletic and Quinn.
When you and Adam talked to Brian Robinson, what was sort of his reaction, and then when exactly did you address the team about?
We visited with Brian, I guess, yesterday afternoon, and then I visited with the team last night. So that was Sunday, yes. So we had a walkthrough on Sunday, and then we visited with Brian after, and then I told the team when we got to the hotel last night. And again, more Nikki, not that they have to, and they know that, but when I can include them on things, I want to do that. It's from a teammate and where we're at, and so just some head nodding, but I'd rather tell them than not. And so that's my pack to them. If I know, I'm going to share it with them.
And Brian's reaction?
Yeah, I'll keep that between us. News like that's not always that easy, but he's somebody that we respect a lot. That's for sure.
And that right there essentially was confirmation from Dan Quinn that the team is trying to trade Brian Robinson. It's a funny deal with Robinson. Many of us, myself included, have been underwhelmed by him in recent seasons, especially with the Commanders' rushing offense in terms of running backs being so bad as last season went on. But the team this past offseason did very little at running back and did quite a bit with the offensive line. And so it seemed as if the team blamed the struggles of the rushing offense in terms of running backs as last season went on the offensive line. Well, maybe not so much. The Commanders clearly are buying into the Bill Krosky-Merritt hype, and we know that Washington under managing partner Josh Harris is in on analytics like never before. Well, analytics are not kind to Brian Robinson's 2024 season. I want to take you through 2 stats here. So The Aaron Schatz DVOA metric, a state-of-the-art metric for per-play efficiency in the NFL. DVOA stands for Defense Adjusted Value Over Average. A DVOA is per-play efficiency based on down, distance, field position, score, and opposing defense. Here were the rushing DVOA stats for Commanders running backs in the 2024 regular season. Chris Rodriguez, 34.2%. Jeremy McNichols, 22.7%. Austin Eckler, 15.3%. Brian Robinson, minus 4.2%. And yes, Robinson had many more carries than Rodriguez had, than McNichols had, than Eckler had. But still, think about that. Rodriguez, 34.2%. That's awesome. McNichols, 22.7%. That's quite good. Eckler, 15.3%. That's good. Robinson, minus 4.2%. Not good. Also, Pro Football Reference, it has a stat called rushing success rate. That is the percentage of successful runs by a player, with success defined as a first down run that gains at least 40% of the yards needed for a first down or touchdown. A second down run that gains at least 60% of the yards needed for a first down or touchdown, or a third or fourth down run that gains at least 100% of the yards needed for a first down or touchdown. Here were the rushing success rates for Commanders running backs in the 2024 regular season. Chris Rodriguez, 74.3%. Jeremy McNichols, 58.2%. Austin Eckler, 51.9%. Brian Robinson, 48.7%. Robinson, dead last among Commanders' primary running backs last regular season in two major advanced stats. There's also the money. Robinson has a salary cap hit for the 2025 season of $3.618 million. Not a massive cap hit, but not nothing. And he's set to be an unrestricted free agent in the 2026 offseason. So you take a step back. If you're the team and you don't love his production, and he is at least somewhat costly, and you don't plan on re-signing him, and you have other backs who you do like, then parting with him makes sense. Now, parting with him is a risk. Chris Rodriguez and Bill Krosky merit are largely unproven. Austin Eckler last season suffered 2 concussions, and Jeremy McNichols, while a nice player, would not seem to have a high upside. But we know how running back production in the NFL is. Running back production in the NFL is as much, if not more, of a function of offensive scheme and offensive line play as running back production in the NFL is a function of actual running backs. General Manager Adam Peters believes in offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury and believes in the team's offensive line, and apparently doesn't believe so much in Brian Robinson, who, remember, was not drafted by Adam Peters. Dan Quinn, during his postgame press conference late night on Monday night on Chris Rodriguez and Bill Krosky merit, and then you'll hear a follow-up exchange with Commanders insider Ben Standig.
Yeah, I thought early what I liked was decisiveness. I thought, you certainly saw some of the big plays. And we're still, learning Bill in some ways. And not every run for every back is quite the same. Fortunately for us with Anthony here, we've got a real veteran in the running back room. That's a big part of that. We've got a good sense for where Chris was coming in, but we wanted to get him more touches today, and Bill as well. So with Austin and Jeremy, we were, thinking a little bit less. And then as we get into next week, Adam and I will visit and say who do we want to feature and look at on Saturday.
With regard to Bill and Chris and really the whole backfield, how much did what you've seen from those guys factor into what's going on with Brian Robinson?
Going into training camp, we really thought this was a deep room. There'd be real competition, Felton and Kaz and Bill and, Eck. And so we knew this was one of our strengths going into training camp. Felt that way at tight end and, then again, that running back. So we wanted to let it play out and go through it. But, I'll go back and look at the tape. But I liked the energy early on from what I saw from those two. And I thought offensive line, I felt that. I felt protection early on was strong. Andrew was playing at left. Chris Paul was at left. Allegretti was over on the right with Connolly on the right. So a little bit of moving parts with them, but I was pleased to see that, Ben. Guys, that's part of it, moving into different roles and seeing what they can do. But Wiley's certainly somebody that stood out to me. He's been at this side, that side, inside, outside. That's what a real vet can do, and he certainly did that tonight.
All right. I want to take a moment to thank the longest tenured sponsor of the Al Galdi podcast, the great Dr. George Verghese. Dr. Verghese is a board-certified dermatologist and Mohs surgeon. Operating under his direction is the Mid-Atlantic Skin Surgery Institute of Maryland, which has locations in Waldorf, Maryland, Leonardtown, Maryland, and Lexington Park, Maryland. Whatever your dermatological needs may be, call 301-396-3401 or visit midatlanticskin.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. The Mid-Atlantic Skin Surgery Institute of Maryland focuses on medical skin care, cosmetic procedures, and skin cancer diagnosis and comprehensive care. Dr. Verghese and the Institute offer free skin cancer screenings to anyone considered a new patient, and Dr. Verghese and the Institute offer advanced treatments for skin cancer, including painless and scarless skin cancer treatment. Also, if you are dealing with allergic reactions, if you're dealing with acne, psoriasis, or eczema, if you're interested in procedures like Botox, laser hair removal, or chemical peels, call 301-396-3401 or visit midatlanticskin.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. That's 301-396-3401 or midatlanticskin.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. For excellent and comprehensive skin care, contact Dr. George Verghese and the Mid-Atlantic Skin Surgery Institute of Maryland and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. More now from the Commanders' 31-17 preseason loss to the Cincinnati Bengals at Northwest Stadium on Monday Night Football. How'd you like the Commanders' QB1? He got in, he scored a touchdown, and he got out. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Jayden Daniels, he played for just one drive, but he scored a touchdown. This was the Commanders' first offensive drive. How about, by the way, how the drive started? The first snap of the drive on a 1st and 10 for the Commanders at their 26. Receiver Deebo Samuel Sr., a 19-yard under center handoff run on a jet sweep. That was great. Deebo has had a terrific training camp, and that was validated with what he did on that play right there. And then the 4th snap of the drive, on a 2nd and 9 for the Commanders at the Bengals 14, Jayden Daniels, a 14-yard shotgun scramble touchdown run with 8:57 left in the first quarter. And Daniels, on that touchdown run, ran through an attempted tackle by safety Jordan Battle, who had no interest in engaging in battle. Jordan Battle did not seem interested at all in tackling Daniels. So this was not like an ultra-physical run-through in terms of a broken tackle, but this was a broken tackle. And that was it for Jayden Daniels. He played for just the one drive. He did not throw a single pass. His only action play was the 14-yard shotgun scramble touchdown run, and thus concludes Jayden Daniels' playing time in the NFL's 2025 preseason. Daniels did a post-game press conference late night on Monday night. The presser began with this back and forth between WUSA 9 sports anchor Chick Hernandez and Daniels, and then you'll hear a back and forth between Commanders insider John Keim of ESPN and Daniels.
But the feeling when you finally got out there and played 4 plays?
It was fun. We can go back out there and play football live again, so it was a fun feeling.
And you made the move of getting Bill the game ball or his touchdown ball. You had to go a long ways to get it. What was your thought there?
I did. It was his first one, and I know he was super excited about it, and I blame other people that are on the field at that time. They're supposed to grab the ball for him, knowing that was the instance, but I still remember mine last year when Zach and Terry made sure I got my ball, so I had to return the favor.
Can you walk us through the touchdown and what you saw in that one?
I wanted to throw the corner route to C-Rod. It was man coverage, and I was late over the middle of Deebo, and then after that, my instincts kind of just took over.
And then, obviously, with the run game was a big thing tonight. What did you see from Chris and Bill?
Yeah, I mean, they ran hard. Obviously, O-line did their job, so gave them lanes to rush in. They ran hard, fought for the extra yards.
Okay, now when it came to the Jayden Daniels touchdown run, he did not take a hard hit, but he could have taken a hard hit. We late night on Monday night had this back and forth between Adam Kilgore of the Washington Post and Daniels.
Jayden, on your touchdown run, did you have any thought to sliding? Did DQ or anybody else express any preference that next time in the preseason you do so, or?
They took me out after that, so.
All right, I like that. Some humor during the Jayden Daniels postgame press conference late night on Monday night. But there's no doubt there is zero reason for Jayden Daniels to be taking any kind of physical risk in a meaningless preseason game. As I have said, I have never thought that Jayden Daniels, off his all-time great rookie season last season, needed to play a single snap this preseason. Daniels did not play in the Commanders' preseason opening 48-18 loss at the New England Patriots on August 8th. The Commanders have one game left in this preseason, home to the Baltimore Ravens this Saturday at noon. We late night on Monday night had this exchange between Commanders insider Ben Standig and Daniels.
It's odd you play but didn't actually attempt a pass. We all make a big deal about, hey, got to get some preseason game going. Does it feel, if you don't play next week, to not even throw a pass in the preseason? Is that good, or would you wish you'd gotten a little more work?
I mean, I wanted to play more, but see y'all week 1 if I don't play next week, so we'll see.
All right. As for the other Commanders quarterbacks who played on Monday night, so Josh Johnson, for a second time in 2 games in this preseason, created distance between himself and Sam Hartman in the competition for the Commanders' QB3 job. But the standout during each guy's time in the game was receiver Jaylin Lane. Johnson played for 2 drives in the first half and then for a drive in the third quarter. He went 6 for 9 for 56 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. He took no sacks. He got charged with a fumble on a botched exchange on a shotgun snap by center Julian Good-Jones in the second quarter. The Commanders' second offensive drive, this was Johnson's first drive of the game. The drive resulted in running back Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt's 1st and 10 27-yard shotgun handoff touchdown run with 5:36 left in the first quarter. The drive started at the Bengals' 44 thanks to an 11-yard punt return by Jaylin Lane. The second snap of the drive on a 2nd and 5 for the Commanders at the Bengals' 39. Johnson had an 11-yard shotgun play action completion to Lane. The Commanders' third offensive drive, this happened in the second quarter. The drive resulted in a Johnson 2nd and 9 interception on a bad deep ball by Johnson on a shotgun pass. But the third snap of the drive on a 3rd and 9 for the Commanders at their 30, Johnson had a 16-yard shotgun completion to Lane. Sam Hartman came into the game in the second quarter. He was the Commanders' quarterback for most of the rest of the game. He went just 4 for 10 for just 29 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. He took no sacks. He did have 4 carries for 25 yards, but how about how his evening started? The Commanders' 4th offensive drive. This was Hartman's first drive of the game. The drive resulted in a late second quarter 3 and out. The first snap of the drive on a 1st and 10 for the Commanders at their 6. Hartman nearly threw an interception to cornerback DJ Ivey on a shotgun incompletion on a pass intended for Jaylin Lane. The Commanders' 5th offensive drive, the lone snap of that drive on a 1st and 10 for the Commanders at their 25 with 28 seconds left in the second quarter. Hartman threw a shotgun interception on a pass intended for receiver KJ Osborne. The Commanders' 7th offensive drive. This was the opening drive of the second half. The drive resulted in kicker Matt Gay's 27-yard field goal with 7:28 left in the third quarter. The 12th snap of the drive on a 3rd and 4 for the Commanders at the Bengals' 25. Hartman had a 14-yard shotgun completion to Jaylin Lane, who made an impressive catch, a diving catch, despite being the victim of a defensive pass interference penalty by cornerback Braylon Lux. Jaylin Lane had 3 receptions for 42 yards on 6 targets and had that 11-yard punt return in the first quarter. He looked terrific. Sam Hartman not so much. Remember, Hartman was really bad in the loss at the Patriots on August 8th, and he really was not much better in this game. As for the Commanders' defense, so I thought that the defense in terms of the starters/key players looked good, flew around. The problem was the penalties. So the Bengals' first offensive drive, opening drive of the game, the drive resulted in running back Chase Brown's 4th and goal, 1-yard shotgun handoff touchdown run with 10:48 left in the first quarter. The 4th snap of the drive on a 4th and 3. For the Bengals at their 49, linebacker Frankie Louvu committed a 5-yard neutral zone infraction penalty. The 7th snap of the drive on a 1st and 10 for the Bengals at the Commanders' 29, cornerback Noah Igbenogany committed a 25-yard defensive pass interference penalty in covering receiver Jamar Chase. But we did have this, the 10th snap of the drive, the play right before the touchdown, on a 3rd and goal at the 2, safety Quan Morton, a great open field tackle on tight end Drew Sample on a 1-yard reception. The Bengals' second offensive drive. The drive resulted in a first quarter 3 and out. 4th snap of that drive on a 3rd and 12 for the Bengals at their 21. Edge defenders Dorrance Armstrong and Jacob Martin. They split a sack of Joe Burrow for a 17-yard loss. This after Burrow ran around like crazy on the play. The Bengals' third offensive drive. This was Burrow's final drive of the game. The drive resulted in Burrow's 1st and goal, 4-yard shotgun touchdown pass to receiver Charlie Jones with 13:54 left in the second quarter. The 6th snap of the drive on a first quarter 2nd and 20 for the Bengals at their 39. Edge defender Dietrich Wise Jr. had a sack strip that was negated by a 15-yard horse collar tackle penalty by Wise. The 9th snap of the drive on a late first quarter 3rd and 7 for the Bengals at the Commanders' 43. Safety Jeremy Reeves did have a nice tackle on tight end Tanner Hudson on a 4-yard reception, but the 13th snap of the drive and the 2nd snap of the second quarter on a 1st and goal for the Bengals at the 10, interior defensive lineman Johnny Newton committed a 5-yard holding penalty. So too many penalties for the defense in the game. The defense did do a lot of good stuff, again, in terms of the starters/key players. We did also have this, though, with the Commanders' defense. The Commanders' defense, especially in the second quarter, got shredded by receiver Mitchell Tinsley, a name that I'm sure is familiar to many of you listening. The Commanders on May 1st, 2023, announced having signed Mitchell Tinsley as an undrafted free agent out of Penn State. He had 5 receptions for 73 yards and 2 touchdowns on 6 targets, and each touchdown came in the final minute of the second quarter. This was the opening statement of head coach Dan Quinn's postgame press conference late night on Monday night.
If there was a thought bubble over my head when we came out, it would be, okay, there it is. The energy, the intensity, and it was definitely good to see that. There would probably be some other stuff that you wouldn't have wanted to see in that thought bubble at the half, giving up some scores into those spaces. So those were a few of the things I liked. I was excited to see Debo run. Honestly, I'd been on the other side of that, and I know what that movie looks like, so that was cool to see. Saw John Bates again in the run game. I felt all the presence with him, and I felt the D-line active early. What I told the team, these penalties, they cost us. We had a 4th down penalty, and those were the ones I thought, man, that's our winning time. We've got to nail those. And then coming out for the second half, I liked some of the intensity. I thought the run game, early was better than late, but more than our last outing, intensity better, tackling better, but we have much to clean up to get to the standards that we want to play at.
All right, 2 games down, 1 game to go in the Commanders' 2025 preseason. Look, we all get it. The preseason is a process. It can be a painful process, but we're getting through it, and it's almost done, and the regular season is not too far away. Well, make it 5 wins in 6 games for the Orioles. They on Monday night won at the Boston Red Sox 6-3 in Game 1 of a 2-game series as the O's, Joe Angel, again, were in the win column.
And the Orioles again in the win column.
Yes, Joe, the win column. The O's in MLB's 2025 regular season now are 58-67. Worst record in the American League East, third worst record in the American League. But the O's, since their 16-34 start, are 42-33. A very good offensive performance by the O's on Monday night. The O's scored 6 runs, totaled 12 hits, worked 4 walks, and went 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position. The 12 hits were a home run, a triple, 2 doubles, and 8 singles. Now, a key player did leave the game due to injury, as the O's this season are never too far from some sort of injury situation. Jordan Westburg, he is the Orioles starting third baseman and number 2 batter, went 0 for 1, left the game due to right ankle discomfort. But a big game for Gunnar Henderson. He is the Orioles starting shortstop and number 3 batter, went 2 for 4 with a solo homer, an RBI triple, and a hit by pitch. Henderson, in an Orioles 1-run third, had a 2-out first pitch solo homer to center field for a 1-0 Orioles lead. The homer went a projected 414 feet per Statcast, and Henderson, in an Orioles 2-run seventh, had a one-out full count RBI triple to the right field corner for a 3-0 Orioles lead. Gunnar Henderson for this regular season is number 1 among all qualified Orioles players at OPS at 824. He, for this regular season, as of games through Sunday, was number 9 in the majors in offensive wins above replacement per Baseball Reference at 4.3. He is having another terrific season. And the 2 highly regarded prospects who the O's called up from AAA Norfolk over the weekend did really well on Monday night. Samuel Basayo, he is the Orioles starting catcher and number 6 batter, went 2 for 5 with a double and a 2-run single. And Dylan Beavers, he is the Orioles starting right fielder and number 8 batter, went 2 for 2 with an RBI single, another single, and 2 walks. Also, in this 6-3 win at the Red Sox on Monday night was another excellent outing by starting pitcher Trevor Rogers. The rise of Trevor Rogers continues. He allowed 1 run in 7 innings with 7 strikeouts versus 1 walk. He gave up just 4 hits, which were a double and 3 singles. He threw a ton of strikes, 98 pitches, 72 strikes, just 26 balls. So Trevor Rogers now for this regular season at the major league level, 12 starts, ERA of 1.41, whip of 0.80, 67 strikeouts versus 16 walks. He has been sensational. Consider this. Trevor Rogers for this regular season, as of games through Sunday, was number 7 among all American League pitchers in wins above replacement per Baseball Reference at 3.7. Think about that. 3.7 WAR over just 11 starts. And he now has had another high-level start. Here was Orioles interim manager Tony Mansolino during his post-game session with reporters on Monday night on Trevor Rogers.
I mean, it's as impressive as a run we've seen in the big leagues this year by any starting pitcher. So, you kind of keep waiting for the other foot to drop in a sense, right? Especially, he's on regular rest today. And, those first couple heaters you looked up at the board, there were 91s and 92s up there. Wasn't some of the 4s and 5s that we've seen. And, just as the game went on, he kind of got stronger. The velocity ticked up. The changeup was really good. The slider, the sweeper, the whole deal. I mean, it looks like a very uncomfortable at bat for the opposing hitters.
Yeah, cannot say enough good things about Trevor Rogers. The Orioles relief pitching in this 6-3 win at the Red Sox on Monday night did have some problems. 2 Orioles relievers combined to allow 2 runs in 2 innings. Dietrich Enns officially allowed 1 run in 1 inning. He tossed a perfect bottom of the 8th, but then got charged with a run in the bottom of the 9th. Yanier Cano officially allowed 1 run in 1 inning. He and the Red Sox's a 2-run 9th gave up a 2-out, 2-run opposite field double by Jarren Duran off the Green Monster in left center field to cut the Orioles' lead to 6-3, but the O's did win. Also with the O's on Monday were some injury updates regarding starting pitchers. Zach Eflin, he on Monday underwent his season-ending back surgery. Also, Tony Mansolino, during his pregame session with reporters on Monday afternoon, said that starting pitcher Kyle Bradish should rejoin the Orioles' major league rotation sometime next week. Big news. So the O's on March 21st announced having placed Bradish on the 60-day injured list due to Tommy John surgery that he underwent in June 2024, but he's about to be back. Game 2 for the O's at the Red Sox Tuesday night at 7:10. Tomoyuki Sagano will be the Orioles starting pitcher. And that'll do it for you and me for now. Keep the feedback coming. You can hit me up on X at Al Galdi. You can email me the Al Galdi podcast at yahoo.com. Wednesday show, episode 1137. We'll include a lot for you on the Commanders. Also on Wednesday show, we'll talk Nationals and Orioles. The Nats are home to the New York Mets Tuesday evening at 6:45 in Game 1 of a 3-game series. The O's are at the Boston Red Sox Tuesday night at 7:10 in Game 2 of a 2-game series. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Jayden, on your touchdown run, did you have any thought to sliding? Did DQ or anybody else express any preference that next time in the preseason you do so? Or
they took me out after that, so.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. That's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter.com/zip.